Hey YouTube, it's Mandak coming at you with another video. This is really going to be a pretty long video today, so hope you're all buckled in, everyone who's listening in live. First off, I know it's been a while. I know I haven't written anything on YouTube. I know it happened about 2 weeks ago actually, but yeah, just wanted to say, about the whole thing with Stan Lee. It's really sad what happened with him. It's one of those things where he was just so old that I accepted the fact that he would just be around as long as I was here. Possibly he would outlive me, but just to talk real quick about him and his impact on me as a Marvel fan. My first influence with Stan Lee actually came back when I was a little kid. I remember my parents bought me um, the X-Men animated show, the pilot episode, Pride of the X-Men, which actually failed and wasn't rebooted until I think a few years after in the 90s. But I remember I had a VHS tape of that episode, and the beginning of the episode starts with Stan Lee, talking about mutants and all this stuff, and that was my first exposure to him as a creator. I wasn't really familiar with who he was before then, but hearing his voice and the energy in his voice, I think that was such a cool way to be introduced to him as a person. And then I went on to obviously read a lot of his comics. And every time I would read his comics, especially with the narration parts, like, in the beginning of the comics or at the end with like the cliffhangers, I always thought back to that voice that was playing in the beginning of the X-Men pilot episode. Um, and that's pretty much, I guess, my simple story of Stan Lee. I've obviously read a lot of his comics. I've read I think, his entire Spider-Man run. Still have to read his Fantastic Four stuff, which I might push up now due to his passing. But yeah, he's, a lot of people, give him flack for stuff that happened in the past. Some people say he's over the top or whatever, but Stan Lee really was the leading person with Marvel. I mean, obviously, you can't discount Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, John Romita, all those guys in the beginning there for what they did as well. But Stan really was that person who really formed Marvel into the multi-billion-dollar company that it is today. So without him, none of this would be possible. And he's created so many of my favorite characters: Iron Man, Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, um, just a myriad of characters, Hulk, Fantastic Four, all that stuff. And to think that it all started back in the 1960s with a book that he was just going to fling out there, right before he quit Marvel, is just remarkable to me. And it's great to know that he's reunited with Joan up there in heaven, I guess, Marvel heaven. Man, that place must be rocking, man. They got Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Stan, Marie, Severin. So they're probably all having a great time up there. But yeah, so just had to say something about that. It's really sad, but at the same time, Stan gave us so much, and he will honestly never be forgotten. He's one of those iconic people that will just live on forever. Um, so yeah, but on that note, I figured a better way to transition is to talk about all the comics. So this is probably going to be my biggest haul I've ever done on this chat. So I hope the live stream does not shit on me halfway through. That wouldn't be good at all. So you'll have to just bear with me if the technical stuff starts to fail. But I have a bunch of stuff here from In Stock Trades, and I actually recently went to this place that's near me. Actually, In Stock Trades, Amazon, and this place near me called Encounter, which I've already done videos on in the past. So I don't need to talk about it again, but they were offering Black Friday sales. Everything was already discounted, and they took 50% off of that. So I was able to find a lot of good stuff. Some omnibus that I was looking at for a while, got it for really cheap. An oversized hardcover, which pretty much is the size of an omnibus. Some single issues from the other places, and then a lot of trades. So, and if you saw the thumbnail for this video, I also have a statue, which I'll show. I might do a separate video for the unboxing. I don't want to do it on camera because knowing me, I'll unbox and it'll fall and I'll break and I'll be pissed. So I'll just show you the box and talk about it. But yeah, so we'll start as always with the single issues. I'm really excited to go through this haul. There's a lot of stuff. So we'll get started here. So first issue I got was actually from one of my nearby stores, so I didn't put him on this list, but his name, he does classic collections. I already did a video of them as well. But picked up an early Iron Man issue, Iron Man number 82. Didn't pay too much for this. I paid, I think, around $4, I think, which is kind of my limit for something like this. I mean, you know, for an issue 82, you're probably not going to get it for much cheaper than that. So I jumped on it, picked it up. This looks like a Jack Kirby cover. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. I don't think this is Jack Kirby. But yeah, this is just this time for Iron Man was not a good time. From like issue 30 through 110 wasn't not a lot of memorable storylines, but nonetheless I read it. So cool to have. Pretty good grading too. Not too bad. Just a little bit of creasing on the top, but and for some reason I don't know if this is just the way the books were made back then, but the logo is very close to the edge here, like almost touching the edge. So I don't know what that's all about, but yeah. So Iron Man 82, picked that up. I still have a lot of issues from 1 to 80 or 1 to 100 that I have to collect. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to collect them all, but I'll collect as many as I can. Excuse me. Next issue I have here is Iron Man Annual number 4. I don't remember reading this. I could have read this, but it features the Champions and MODOK. So for anyone who isn't familiar, the Champions was like a team that was formed in, like, I think the late 70s, mid to late 70s, and it consisted of members from the original XMen, Black Widow, Hercules, Ghost Rider. It's a hodgepodge of characters. I own both classic collections or classic editions volumes of these, so I'm gonna have to read it eventually. The classic Champions series ran for only, I think, 18 issues and got canceled. So, and then there's a new version out today, which I don't know if is very good, but anyway, nonetheless, really cool cover. It's nice to have another Iron Man annual. So I think I own Iron Man annuals 4 through 15. So yeah, just gotta get 1, 2, and 3, and then I don't know if there's any after that. I don't know if there's any more 16, 17, that type of stuff, but yeah. So those are my 2 single issues. I'll get into some of my trades here. So the first trade I got, I don't know, looking back on it, I don't know why I bought it, because the hardcover came out just recently, so I may be upgrading, but we'll have to wait and see. I got this because it was on a damage sale, and that is Darth Vader, Imperial Machine. This is Charles Soule's run on Darth Vader. So I think, was it Kieran Gillen? Yeah, Gillen had the first run on Darth Vader back when Marvel started doing all these Star Wars books. So this is the second one. I think from what I've heard, this goes back a little bit more in the past, like right when Darth Vader becomes Darth Vader, like on the Battle of Mustafar after that, or Duel on Mustafar, not Battle on Mustafar. So I'm really excited to read this. You know, I'm a huge Darth Vader Anakin fan. Well, more so Darth Vader. Not really Anakin. Anakin was a little bitch sometimes. But yeah, so I'm excited to read this and find out what's going on with this. Still gotta read. I started reading the Darth Vader series. I got about 6 issues in, and I stopped reading it because I was reading it online, and I stopped reading it because I wanted to read it in person. So I have both hardcovers for that now. The one store I went to this weekend actually had the first hardcover for $10. So anybody here wants it, hit me up. I may or may not be able to get it for you. It might not be there anymore, but $10 for the first hardcover is a pretty good deal. But yeah, so Darth Vader, just the paperback. So it's weird. I got this for a damage sale on IST, and you know, like I said in the past, the damage sales on IST are really not that bad. So the only thing I noticed with this is, I don't know what the hell this is. If anyone else who's bought something from IST damage can let me know. I mean, it's like a little plastic something that's stuck to the back cover. I don't know what it is, but it goes along the whole end. I mean, it doesn't bother me because it's going to sit in the shelf like this. So you're not even going to see that on the back. So, but yeah, I don't know what that is. Weird. So that's the first trade I got. Next few trades here, I forgot to put them on this list too. I got some stuff from, I got these from Second and Charles. So I got these about 2 weeks ago, and I just never got around to doing a haul because I only bought a few, so I didn't feel like doing a haul for a few. But since I had all these together, I figured why the hell not just do them all together at once. So next book here is All New Invaders, Volume 1. So this is part of Marvel Now. I think this is after Secret Wars. I could be wrong, but it just features the Invaders. I got this for really, really cheap. It's $4.50, but I think I got it for even cheaper than that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know why I bought this. Yeah, I mean, the Invaders are kind of a cool team. You know, they were all Golden Age heroes. So that's kind of like one of the first team ups in Marvel history. You know, before you had the Avengers and Fantastic Four and all that stuff. But yeah, so I mean, you have the original team on here. You got the Human Torch, Submariner, Bucky, and Captain America. I mean, Bucky kind of looks like the Winter Soldier. I'm pretty sure he is the Winter Soldier. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. This might not be good. I might be selling this. We'll find out. Yeah, okay. So the next two books I got here, I got Volume 1 of Power Man and Iron Fist. So this is the 2016 series, I believe. Yeah. So I actually own this first trade in singles. I got it from like a store for really cheap, so I figured I'd just buy it. But I'm gonna read the trade here. I think I actually read the first issue with my club back when I was going to school, like my junior year of college. So really enjoyed it. The artwork in this book is really cool. I really like this artwork. So, you know, if anything, it'll look pretty when I read it. But I heard this is a pretty good run. You know, I don't know how many issues it went for. I think it got 3 or 4 trades. It has at least 3 because I have the third trade right here. But yeah, and then it features an ad for that Epic Collection on the back, which I also own. So lit. I gotta do some reading on Power Man and Iron Fist because right now I'm like finished. I should be completely done soon with my Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, and I think for a while I'm gonna take a break on Guardian stuff and go and read some like street level stuff like Punisher or Power Man Iron Fist just to cleanse my palate a little bit with cosmic stuff. I've read a lot of cosmic things over the past 3 months, so I'm getting a little tired of it, and I don't want to. If I'm gonna read something, I want to enjoy it. I don't want to have to like be like, oh god, another you know planet ship thingy, whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, moving on. The next one we have here is the third trade of that same series, Power Man and Iron Fist. So again, I think this is the same artist. So I always love it when the artists are consistent because that way the art kind of stays the same and it's not too jerky. I mean, sometimes the art is better when artist changes, but sometimes it just throws off the whole book. But this looks like a different artist. But yeah. So this is called Street Magic. I'm pretty sure the second trade of this is the Civil War II tie-in trade. So it's good to know that this series lasted through Civil War II and didn't get derailed and canceled from that series. But yeah, so you know, excited to read this. Obviously, I'm not gonna start here. I'm gonna start with the classic stuff and work my way to this eventually. But yeah, just some more street levels things that I'm excited to have. So I'll take all these price stickers off on these so you can see them. But so the next pile of books for a while here is all stuff from Encounter. So these were all, like I said, already discounted. Then I got 50% off of them. So crazy deals. So the first book I got was Doctor Strange Don't Pay the Ferryman. And this is a story from Doctor Strange 75 through 81, written by Roger Stern. And this is one of those classic Doctor Strange stories that any person who's looking to get into Doctor Strange should definitely own. I have myself not personally owned it up or read it up until this point, but I've heard this is something that is essential reading for Doctor Strange fans. So obviously, I'm not going to go out and buy all of Doctor Strange's collected edition stuff. I'm going to pick and choose what I like, but this is a good, nice trade to have. I don't see Marvel making epic collections for this anytime soon, so Doctor Strange has only gotten like 3 epic collections, I think. I actually think I own all 3 of them. Master of the Mystic Arts, Separate Reality, and Afterlife. So he's getting more, I mean, as we go along here, but for right now, this will be your best way of reading this. So really excited to read this. I'm a big fan of Roger Stern. You know, I've read his SpiderMan run, I've read his Avengers run, or most of his Avengers run, like the middle part of it, the good stuff, the Assault on Olympus and Under Siege. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if it's called Assault on Olympus, but yeah, it follows Under Siege. So yeah, so that's a cool trade to have. I got this for just so I could rub it into people out there who know how much I'm paying. I paid $450 for this, so pretty good deal for about 200 page trade. So there's that. Next book, I'll rip off the price tag here, is Punisher Max Complete Collection Volume 5. I saw this last month when I visited this store before, and I was a little hesitant on buying it because I've heard that this stuff does not collect all of Ennis's, or there's nothing from Garth Ennis in this book actually. The first 4 complete collections have his stuff in there, and I already own all that, so I think there's only 6 complete collections of Punisher Max. I think the 6th one, Ennis comes back and does another series or whatever, but this one collects a bunch of other stuff, so I was hesitant to buy it originally because it was $15, and $15 for Punisher Max Complete Collection that isn't Garth Ennis, I didn't really feel like spending that much, and when I came back it was half off of that, so $7.50, so the completionist in me bought this. If I don't like it, I can just sell it or something, but I figured, if I read the first 4 and I really like it, and I'm really digging Punisher and I want to read some more, I mean, this should be some good stuff. I've heard that it's not too bad, so, we'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm not a huge Punisher fan. I haven't read a lot of Punisher stuff. The only exposure to Punisher I have is through the Amazing Spider-Man, like his introduction. I've read that stuff, and I've always thought it was dumb, like back then when he used the mercy bullets, because they didn't kill people, but like that was all Punisher's like mantra was he'd kill people because of his his death of his family. So I think this whole series kind of throws all that shit out the window and says, okay, if we're gonna do Punisher, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna make sure he kills people. So I've heard it's really bloody and gory, so I'm excited to read it. It'll be my first official kind of introduction to the character, and I think it's a good spot to start for sure. So next thing, I was just talking about going cosmic and how I don't want to go back to cosmic for a long time, but picked this up, War of Kings. Got this for $5, and I have Realm of Kings. I'm not gonna go out and buy the omnibus. I'm just not that much into it, and from what I've heard, I think they're already out of print, so I'm not going to go and pay a dime for those. So the trades will be fine. I have War of Kings, or I have Realm of Kings. I now have War of Kings. So I have Guardians of the Galaxy by Danny Abnett, or Danny, yeah. I'm sorry. Abnett and Lanning. I was going to say Abnett and Lanning. I've read their stuff, and I still need to go back and read Annihilation and these two, but this is some cosmic stuff that I'm definitely going to get to at some point, just maybe not in the near future. I might take a little break and come back and read the events. I know that's very out of order, but I mean, I can probably piece it together. I'm pretty sure all this is about that fault, that they all kind of tie back to the fault, that's the rift that's being torn in the earth and all that shit, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Alright, moving on here. New Avengers Volume 2, the second volume, Volume 3, if that makes sense. So this is by Bendis again, so these two actually I think complete my New Avengers Volume 2 run, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's only 5 trades, could be wrong. But this collects New Avengers 16.1 to 17, or 16.1 and 17 through 23. So I'm assuming, judging by the back cover, that this is somewhat related to Dark Avengers or something like that. I have no idea. I'm going to find out, though, and I'll get back to you on it later. But, yeah, just completing just working on trying to get some more Avengers stuff, and this is good. I'm pretty sure this has been at that store for a while, and I never noticed it, never picked it up. And, yeah, let me just make sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so now I own volumes 1 through 5 of that, so Liddy. Got that for $4, so a little bit, I mean, compared to what other things I was paying for $4. That's a little bit on the smaller side, but I mean it's still $4. Next book we have here, and I'm pretty sure I saw this here and didn't pick it up because I saw this AVX on the top. I'm like, ugh, it's a crossover, and I want to look at it. But this is actually something I need. It's the New Avengers Volume 2, and this is the 4th volume of that series, and this is the Avengers versus X-Men crossover. So I haven't read Avengers versus X-Men yet, but I plan to someday, and this collects New Avengers 24 through 30 of that series. So the first volume of New Avengers also had tie-in books. There was the Civil War book, that's volume 5, and then you get the Secret Invasion books, and then you get towards the end you get Siege. So it's not like the first volume didn't suffer from being wrapped into tie-ins. I mean, it's New Avengers; they're gonna be tied into that stuff. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, Diodado's the. Is that how you say his name? Diodato? Diodato? I don't know. He's the artist. His name sounds familiar. I've probably read some stuff with his art in it. So, yeah. So those are some other trades I got. I picked up a lot of trades for a series that I needed to get trades on because, they were really cheap. They were half off of already discounted prices. So the next few are going to be like that. Right here, I'm kind of starting backwards and working my way down. This is the 21st volume of XFactor. So, judging by the name of it, the end of XFactor, I'm assuming this is the last the last trade of Peter David's run on XFactor, which is huge. 21 volumes of this, so we'll see. It's just going to be like New Avengers, just going to have to be patient and hope I can find them when I find them, but yeah, it says right here, Peter David's epic tale, nearly a decade in the telling, draws to its close. So I've heard great things about his XFactor stuff, not just the early stuff from the 80s, but also this more modern run. So we'll see how this goes. I picked this up for $3, so that's why I got it. Next one we got here, that price tag's not going to come off easily, so we'll just do that. So the next one we have here is Volume 6 of XFactor, and this is the Secret Invasion book, tie-in book. So now, after I show this next one, I actually will own volumes 1 through 6 of XFactor. So I might try, I haven't bought too many trades after that, if I start it and I don't like it, I'm screwed. I have to read all of it, but I might try, I might sample it with the first few trades and see if I like it. Odds are I'm probably going to like it because, I've heard really good things about it, but yeah, so this is another trade. I got this for $3.50. $3.50, $3.50. I don't know why I said $3.50, but yeah. So we can see here scrolls on the front. Everyone's a scroll because that's what Secret Invasion is about. Really excited to see the new Captain Marvel movie and see scrolls are going to be in that movie. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Hopefully we do get a Scrolls type of movie going forward, like a Secret Invasion movie. That would be really sweet. I think that would be a really cool thing for them to do. Last XFactor trade here, and we'll move on to other stuff, is XFactor Heart of Ice. And this is the 4th trade. So I now own volumes 1 through 4, or 1 through 6, like I said, and then some random ones after that, like 13, 11, 21, 17, something like that. But yeah, just another trade. I got this for $4 as well, so just more stuff. It's crazy to me that Peter David was on this book for so long. Like, you don't see that. Like, books get canceled before they get to like their 3rd trade. It's just remarkable. It must have been something had to be going right with that book if it was on that for so long. So I'm really excited to read it. My first exposure to Peter David's writing. I haven't really read a lot of Peter David stuff, if anything, for that matter. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So the next book we got here, I'll take off the label. This is SpiderMan Miles Morales, Volume 1. And I actually own Volume 2. And the thing is, I saw 2 Volume 1s of these, of like Spider-Man books with Miles Morales on the front, and I got confused as hell because so there's an Ultimate Spider-Man book, right? Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, and that is there's a first volume of that, and that is um, Peter Parker still, and he dies. Spoiler alert. And then Miles takes up the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Volume 2, I believe. I could be wrong. And then Secret Wars happens, and then Miles gets his own series, I think, and then he gets another series that's just called Spider-Man, but on the trade it says Spider-Man Miles Morales. So it's really confusing to try to look up and see, okay, what is this and which one do I need? Because I almost bought the wrong book today. Instead of this first volume of this series, I was almost about to buy another volume of another series. So I'm about to go back and track that down and find out what that is, because it's all confusing. But yeah, so Miles Morales, I read all Miles first stuff, back when he was still in Ultimate Comics. So I'm assuming this is after he's come into the 616 universe after Secret Wars. And Miles is an awesome character. I'm really excited. He is definitely going to be in the MCU one day. They've already made hints at him with his uncle, played by Donald Glover in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. So I'm really excited to see his debut whenever it comes. They don't have to rush it by any means, but he's definitely going to be a cool character. And he's getting his own movie later on in December, so I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to have to go out and see that movie. I know it's animated, but I mean, it's going to be a really cool. There's going to be a lot of cameos and Easter eggs that I think any Spider-Man fan will definitely enjoy. So, yeah, so just collecting more stuff from him. Really cool character. Alright, so next trade we have here is Uncanny Avengers Volume 2 by Jerry Dugan. So this is following Rick Remender's run on Uncanny Avengers. So his run got, I think, ended by... his run got ended by Secret Wars, and then this picks up after Secret Wars. So you can tell by it, because 2015 was the year where you had a bunch of 2015 A's and 2015 B's series. So 2015 A was technically was, I guess, Rick Remender's run, and then 2015 B was Jerry Dugan's run after the whole Secret Wars event. So this book, obviously ties in a lot with X-Men, stuff like that. I think it trickles out of X-Force, if I'm not Uncanny X-Force. I could be wrong though. But yeah, so it includes a bunch of X-Men characters as well as old Avengers characters. So really excited to read this. I have Uncanny Avengers in Omnibus, as you can see right there. Picked that up a while ago for pretty cheap. But this stuff is only collected in trades and premium hardcovers, which I'm not paying, $12 for the same material that in a hardcover. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, Marvel, those things are really dumb. I mean, I'll only buy those if they're really cheap and they're my favorite characters. But other than that, I'm not buying premium hardcovers for this. So yeah, so this collects the Uncanny Avengers 7 through 12 of that series. So cool stuff. I'm glad to own it. All right, getting down to the pile here. We still got a shit ton of stuff to go through. The next book I got here, and this is something that I was contemplating getting, but I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure there's not an Epic Collection out yet for this. And this is Captain Marvel Masterwork, Volume 1. I'm really excited to find that this was the Volume 1 one, because this collects all of the first initial stuff of Captain Marvel. It has Marvel Superheroes 12 through 13, and Captain Marvel 1 through 9. So, this is actually... I'm pretty sure this is Marvel, just in a different costume. It could be wrong. I think he either dies or something, and that someone else, Marvel, then becomes the character of Captain Marvel. But yeah, this is some late 60s, early 70s stuff, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll find out how good this is. Knowing my luck, because Captain Marvel's coming out this year, knowing my luck, I'll buy this, and then in a few more months, Marvel will announce an Epic Collection that collects all this stuff, and then I gotta go out and sell this. So, but yeah, this is the trade paperback version of the Masterwork. It's not the hardcover. I only paid $5 for this, so pretty sure I wouldn't be able to pay $5 for the hardcover of the Masterwork. So, cool stuff. I never read a paperwork. I actually never read a Masterwork book yet, either paperback or hardcover. So I'm excited to see how the formatting is on this. It's a little bit smaller than a regular trade for some reason. Okay, so yeah, we have one more paperback left, and then we have all hardcovers after that. So the last one I got this on Amazon for pretty cheap. Got it for about $7, and that is the Star Wars Epic Collection, The Empire Volume 2. So now I own volumes 1 through 3 of The Empire. And like I said before, huge Star Wars fan. I'm stealthily collecting a lot of Star Wars stuff. You can see here I bought this omnibus, Volume 3 of the original Marvel years, a few weeks back for pretty cheap. So I'm just hoping to find the first volume, and then I can read all that stuff, the classic stuff, which I really, really enjoy reading from Star Wars stuff. Read that hopefully soon, and then dive into these epic collections, which collect a lot of more modern stuff from Dark Horse. That just crazy to me to believe that Marvel and Disney are making so much money off of by just slapping their logos on it and republishing it. Like, it's just crazy. Like, you notice too, like when you go to like the covers, right? There's no like, I don't know. They don't. I don't think they include the cover art for these issues. Let me see. They do. Yeah, you can see here. Like they show the covers, but there's no like usually in the Epic collections they'll put the full cover in there with like all the ads and everything of who published it. But I think they just literally put the artwork in here. Yeah, you can see here. Like they don't put the full cover with like the name of the book and all that stuff because it would have Dark Horse written on it, and I'm pretty sure Marvel. I don't think they're allowed to do that. I don't think they would want to do that either because it's almost like they're creating advertising for Dark Horse in their own book. So, yeah. But yeah, so I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Star Wars Epic collections. Yeah, that's a lot of backlog that I'm gonna have to read through at some point, but we'll see. Maybe when Star Wars movies are stopped getting made and I don't have movies to look at anymore, I'll go back and read the comics. I don't think that's ever gonna happen, but you never know. All right, so moving on here, we have 5 hardcovers, which is crazy. I usually don't find a lot of hardcovers for good prices out in the wild, so it's nice to have, well, some of the stuff I bought online, but some of it was stuff I found out there today, so we'll get into it. I'm already 33 minutes into this video, wow. Alright, so the first book we have here, smallest one of the bunch, is Guardians of the Galaxy by Brian Michael Bendis, Volume 3. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, oh my goddamn, why did you buy Volume 3? You should have stopped at 1 and 2. I actually really enjoyed Volumes 1 and 2. I read those very fast, and I enjoyed most of it. Angela joining the team was a really cool addition. Same thing with Eddie Brock as Venom, Agent Venom, I guess, and then Captain Marvel joining later. I enjoyed the series. I think Bendis does a pretty good job with characterization at some points. Obviously the whole thing with like Iron Man in the beginning is kind of dumb because he just leaves the team after like 3 or 4 issues, but I guess that kind of makes sense. He's not really a Guardian, but yeah. So I have this. I actually ordered Volume 4 on Saturday because I want to have it, and then Volume 5 I want to have to get eventually. But I think that just came out, so it might be a little expensive. But this one I got for cheap. I got it for like $8 or something online. So yeah, like I said before, just finished up my cosmic stuff. So once I get those other 2 hardcovers in, I may read them soonish. I might just take a break and come back to them, read them up later. But yeah, we'll see. This collects Guardians of the Galaxy 18 through 27 and Annual number 1. And then the 4th volume collects Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Volume 4. Yeah, because Volume 1 was Valentino and all that stuff, and then Volume 2 was Abnett Landing. This is Volume 3, and then Volume 4 is going to be the 4th volume hardcover, which, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I confused people out there. Alright, so next book we got here. I'll take it out of this plastic because I'm going to have to put it on the shelf anyway. next book I got here, and it's a little beat up, but you know, for the price I paid, which is $15, I can't really complain too much. And that is Squadron Supreme by Mark Grunwald. Um, rest in peace, Mark Grunwald, first and foremost. This collects his 12-issue series on Squadron Supreme, which is basically, I think, the Justice League of Marvel, if I'm not mistaken. This also has Captain America 314 and Squadron Supreme Death of Universe. So this is the omnibus version. As you can see, it's on the smaller side. I paid $15 for this, so that's why I bought it. They were offering the trade for, I guess, a little bit cheaper price, like I think $7.50. But I mean, for the hardcover version, for an extra $7, I sucked it up and bought it. And just looking at it, looks like some really great art. You can see it right here. So I'm really excited to read this. Paul Ryan is the artist on some of this stuff. So yeah, I've read some Mark Grunwald stuff. I have not read his Captain America run yet. I have most pieces of it, but I've read his Quasar stuff, and it's early Quasar, so it was very wordy, and I actually fell asleep reading some of those issues because they were just so much wording and narration. I just can't stand that sometimes, but I thought it was alright. And this seems like it's a little bit later on in the 80s, I think, so hopefully there's not too much text-heavy stuff in here. I'm not saying I'm not saying I don't want to read a lot of text. It's just sometimes when you're trying to get into a book, it's a little bit easier when there's better action panels, and sometimes when the art speaks for itself, it's a little bit better. But yeah, so cool, another omnibus to add to my collection, and on the smaller side, obviously. I think this is under 400 pages, or under 500 pages. Yeah, it is. So yeah, Mark Grunwald passed away a while ago. But he's a really good writer. So excited to read his stuff. All right, getting down to the pile here. Next book, and this is kind of like plastic wrap, so I'm not gonna take it off. But I saw this last time I went to that store. Didn't buy it because it was $45. Went back today. It was half off of that, so I'm like, okay, I'm definitely buying it today. And that is the Avengers The Crossing. And I know people are saying, "P.U. this book sucks." Excuse me. And the reason why I bought this is because it has Iron Man issues number 319 through 325, Force Works 16 through 22, and War Machine 20 through 25. And this is the only spot it's collected in. And I'm excited because I can finally sit down and read this in the collected version. It also collects 390 through 395 of the Avengers. And this is pretty much the end of most of these series. The Iron Man Volume 1, I think, ends at like 327 if I'm not mistaken. And then you get the Heroes Reborn era, and then you get the Heroes Return era with Kurt Busiek and Sean Chen, which is a great book. It's collected in an omnibus over here, which I would recommend you guys read, pick up. You can get it for pretty cheap online. But yeah, so this has some stuff from the very tail end of Iron Man's Volume 1 material, and I'm excited to have it in this oversized format. Obviously, it's not. I've heard it's not the greatest stuff. I've heard it's really, really bad, but I want to find out. I want to find out for myself. The artwork looks intriguing, to say the least. This is a really bad era for comics in general. I mean, there were some good stuff that come out in the 90s, but most of it was really bad stuff. So, yeah, so we'll see. You can see the side here has Iron Man on the side. And that's the thing, like, this is really a lot of, like, Iron Man and all that stuff is featured a lot in this story. That's kind of why it's, he's featured in the cover and on the side panel. War Machine also has some of his stuff in here too, so yeah. I own some of these in single issues too, so it's gonna be exciting to read these and find out why it sucks so bad. I'm not sure if this is Team Tony as well, but we'll find out. Okay, so let me just do some moving around here and get some stuff sorted out. Alright, next book I got this for $22 as well. And this one I was really excited because I actually don't remember seeing this on the shelf when I was there last, but I guess it was on sale because now I have it. And that is X-Men, Uncanny X-Men Fatal Attractions Oversized Hardcover. And this is obviously some later X-Men stuff, so it's not too much into the earlier stuff, but it's still a really cool hardcover to have. This collects issues 298 to 305, 315 and Annual 17, XFactor 87 through 92, X-Men Unlimited 1 through 2, X-Force 25, X-Men 1991 number 25, Wolverine number 75, and Excalibur number 71. So it's pretty much scattered all over the place, and the reason being is because this is a crossover event, so it involved all the X books, and I actually own I guess parts of this in the Fatal Attractions trade paperback. I'll have to go and check to see how much of this is in there, but I'm selling it if anyone wants to buy it from me. But yeah, this is nice to have to match my other hardcovers that I have for X-Men. I don't own too many. Actually, as of right now, I own 4 or 5 Omnibus for X-Men. I own 3 Uncanny, the X-Men Classic, and then the last book I'm going to show you here is also an Omnibus for X-Men. But this you can pretty much count as an Omnibus. I mean, it's everything but the name, you know. So yeah, cool to have. I got this, like I said, for $22. So for, you know, this has a $100 cover price. So yeah, stole that one for sure. And the last book I have here before I get to the last thing I want to show is I got this brand new on IST, came out a few months ago. I'm really excited to have this, and now it's just a matter of waiting for Uncanny X-Men Volume 4 and 5 to come out, the omnibuses to come out, or to get announced. Because this pretty much confirms the fact that Marvel is set on collecting all of Claremont's run in oversized hardcover format. And that is Mutant Massacre Omnibus. And I actually was going to buy Mutant Massacre trade paperback when this book was announced, and I actually held myself back and didn't buy it. But yeah, this is the first, I guess, judging by the title or on the front covers, is one of the most iconic X-Men crossovers ever. And it says on the back, the first X-Men event and still the most brutal. So I've heard really good things about this. This is a lot of good Claremont stuff, still hitting his stride. And just a bunch of great artists. You know, you have Walter Simonson. I don't know if he's doing some. It says written by, so I don't think he's doing any drawing on this. But you have John Romita Jr., as you can see on the front here. This is such an iconic cover. This is actually the same cover they used for the hardcover and for the trade paperback. So if they're using it for all 3 formats, it must be a really good cover. And you know, just some really great artists. Alan Davis, Barry Windsor Smith. Walt Simonson is doing art on this, so yeah. So this collects Uncanny X-Men number 210 through 219, Annual number 11, X-Factors numbers 9 through 17, and Annual number 2, New Mutants 46, Thor 373 through 374, and 377 through 378. So I think there's a little bit of double dipping here with the Thor by Walter Simonson Omnibus. You get Power Pack number 27, Daredevil number 238, Fantastic Four versus the... Well, let me just back up real quick. The Power Pack issue and the Daredevil issue, I think, and the Thor issues are all tie-ins to Mutant Massacre. And then you get... So I guess to round out the rest of this omnibus, to add pages to it, you get Fantastic Four versus the X-Men. That's really cool. I think that was in a Marvel Premiere Classic for a long time, and I don't know if it's gotten recollected into anything, so it's really cool to have it in here. And you get X-Men versus the Avengers 1 through 4, which I actually read. It's actually in the Judgment Day Epic Collection for Avengers. So a little bit of double dipping there, but I can see why they did it. They probably added it in because they didn't have enough stuff to kind of if they didn't add those 8 issues in, this probably would be the same size or near to as the hardcover. So wanted to get to that around 1,000 page mark. I guess they were looking for. But yeah, this is some lit stuff. So right now, as it stands, I think you have Mutant Massacre starting at 210, and then you have Uncanny X-Men Volume 3 Omnibus ending at, I think, 176 or something. So you have about, I want to say about 35 issues, 36 issues of just X-Men stuff to collect still. Plus, you have XFactor, you have New Mutants, you have Excalibur, all that stuff kind of tying in as well with the main titles. So my friends were talking that they probably think we're going to be getting an Uncanny X-Men Volume 4 and 5 Omnibus announced, hopefully sometime within the next few years, and that will bring us up to the beginning of this book. So I'm excited to see where Marvel goes with this. I mean, judging by the fact they made this omnibus, it says to me that they might be going towards collecting the back end or the stuff behind this book. But in the meantime, I'll be satisfied with this. I'm not sure what I want to do. If I want to just jump ahead and read this, or if I want to wait it out and see if Marvel announces Omnibus. So we'll see. So that is my whole haul video for comic books. I'm really excited. I didn't spend a lot of money on this stuff, and I got deals, man. It's really nice to get really good deals on stuff because you know that you're getting your money's worth, and all this stuff is stuff that I really am looking forward to reading. I had some other stuff on my pile and I put it back because I didn't if I'm gonna buy a lot of stuff, I want to make sure it's stuff that I really am gonna want to read and gonna want to enjoy to have in my collection, and all this stuff fits that bill perfectly. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah. So the last thing I want to show is I decided to reward myself too because there was they were having a sale on the statues at the store as well, 50% off of the already slashed down price. So this statue I'm going to show you here was originally $80. It got cut down to $40, and then 50% off of that was $20 for this. And I'm excited to have it. Then I'll show it here, and it is Kitty Pryde in her Shadow Cat outfit, I think. Actually, I don't even think there's a name for her at this point. I think it is Shadow Cat. But this is just her in her training uniform for X-Men. This is back in her earliest introduction into the team, right after the death of Jean during the Dark Phoenix saga. You can see here Lockheed's with her as well. So, which is really weird because I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm pretty sure Lockheed came to the X-Men before after she changed her costume or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember her wearing this costume with Lockheed on her shoulder like that, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so this is a really cool bust. It's not really that big, 7 inches tall, but it's still really cool to have. This is actually my first official expensive sculpture that I have of any Marvel character. I don't have any other expensive statues. I have pop figures and little things from Iron Man that I bought over the years, but nothing expensive like this. Nothing high-end detail like that. So it's really cool to have. I'm a big fan of Kitty Pryde. I've read her. Obviously I've read Uncanny X-Men where she first appeared. I've read all of Ultimate Spider-Man, so she was in there a lot. Just got done reading all of Star-Lord's stuff, solo stuff, and she was featured in there. Her and Peter were engaged for a while, so that was weird. But yeah, Kitty's been kicked around a little bit, I guess, in terms of her writing and stuff like that over the past few years. But yeah, I really enjoy this because, like I said, this is classic X-Men, Uncanny X-Men stuff. So yeah, so that's my haul, guys. A lot of stuff. So now the fun part begins. I gotta go inventory all this, put it into my collection, make sure I have everything in here up to date, and that should take me a few days because I have a lot of stuff here to do. So in the meantime, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Wow, 50 minutes. Yeah, this is probably the longest video we've had. Just want to say, oh yeah, also hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Forgot to mention that at the beginning, but yeah. So other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.